disagree. I think the instinct to remember is the same as the instinct in song.
Okay, please settle the pressing controversy regarding the islands in the stream. Does one say Caribbean or Caribbean? And this is from Daniel Webster.
I think it depends on where you're from. If you know, strangers say, for instance, people come to the Caribbean and they say, I haven't been in the ocean today.
Yeah.
We never say the ocean in the Caribbean because we call it the sea. It's the sea. And you can tell people from abroad when they say, how is the ocean? Because we don't say the ocean at all, ever. Say the ocean. The ocean is literary or it's different. Caribbean is the Caribbean pronunciation of Caribbean.
There's the answer. Okay. As a Caribbean writer, do you feel that you have a responsibility to highlight and showcase your heritage in a particular way? In what ways do you find your writing succeeds where other contemporaries fall short in this activity?
I think all of this is very, very dangerous. You know, you're instructed, it's like race. You know, you've got to say something about Afro-American something. You'll say it if it comes up, if it's necessary, and if it has to be uttered. But this instruction, two poets of any kind, to say that you should do that and you should, you know, the Irish went through that themselves, you know, that you have to be that and you have to express. This is very, very dangerous. It's what communists say when they're in charge. You've got to praise the common man. If you say F the common man, goodbye. You know? But F the common man, F the aristocrat too. Common man, whoever that is, doesn't have any more rights than the aristocrat. Not in poetry. If you make those distinctions of race and duty that are inflicted on any creative artist, then you are approaching a fascist demand that can happen from people who want the artist to do X or Y, whether it's you're not feminist enough, you're not black enough, you're not whatever enough. And if you listen, you're in trouble because you can never satisfy that particular regime of which you're supposed to be the representative. And you're going to wind up in the gallows. Because you will be, that's what the communists did. You'll be charged with not completely fulfilling your duty. And even when you think you're doing it, they tell you it's not enough, you know. It's not enough, not satisfactory. You could do more. Well, if you try to do more, you go crazy. And that's what they want. So they put you in jail.
So do you have a specific audience in mind when you write?
I look in the mirror a lot.
When you're trying to understand?
I have a specific audience, I think, in theater. I've said without any kind of superiority of feeling that if I'm doing a comedy, I want a fat black woman from the country to be laughing at the back. Laughing to the kind of laughing where she's hiding her face and screaming, oh God, oh God. It's that one. Then I've achieved something. That's my specific audience in comedy. I don't have any particularly in, you know, in tragedy. And certainly none in poetry.
Except for us.
Oh, great audience.
Yes. Of all the crafts that you practice, poetry, playwriting, and painting, which do you enjoy the most?
Painting can bring a lot of joy, physical joy, especially in the Caribbean. You know, if you're in a particularly beautiful place and you're painting it, especially by the ocean. gets any pleasure from poetry. I think it's legitimate to say about a play, yeah, that was good, because other actors are helping you. You're not the one making it happen. You're the last person in a play who makes it happen. The actors make it happen, the director makes it happen. So you can share that joy because it's with others. If it's, you can't write a poem and say, Jesus, this is good, this is great. I mean, what you get is relief that you made it and a kind of, gratitude that you think you made it. But physically, I think painting, yeah.
When you were a younger writer, did you ever get that sense of thrill when you finished a poem and you thought, nailed it?
No. I really think that every poet knows, and every great poet knows, that if you took his collected works and selected the best of it, you probably get 6 pages, if you're lucky. Really, and nobody minds that. I don't think any poet minds that. I think Long would have said that, I think Lowell would have said it. I just think that poetry is such a thing that you serve, that your identity is minimal or nothing compared to your service to poetry that the great poets do. I don't mean it's true of Shakespeare necessarily, because that's theatre poetry, but in terms of lyric poetry and narrative poetry, I think yes.
Who were the great 20th century poets?
20th century, you mean all over?
Yeah, sure. Not just in
there are a lot. The century has been great. In America, I think the flourishing of American poetry has its equivalent in the Jacobean era in England. I really think that we have that many. There's never been a period of poetry that has so many rich, good poets as has happened in America. Mainly because of the colloquiality of the rhetoric of American poetry. That American poetry's strength is in its colloquiality, and that colloquiality, when it takes in metaphor, can be as powerful as the Jacobean or Elizabethan era. And if you look carefully at the time between the flourishing of American poetry, say from the 20s on, then compare it to, say, the Jacobean poets, that it's an equal era. So, if you ask me who I like, I don't like to pronounce who are the great. People I enjoy, a lot of them, many of them. I reread Larkin a lot. I think Charlie Sinnott is a terrific poet, and so on and so on. There are a lot of people. Great poet, Pound, Stevens at times, on Wednesdays.
Well, we've been favoring poetry a little bit. Here's a question from someone about theater. Could you please talk a bit about your personal experiences and artistry in the theater, be it as a playwright or otherwise?